So would you say kind of like Portugal kind of blossomed that freelance, that cookbook, that passion, or would you say it was already there before, or
I would say it was already there. I just didn't have sort of the bandwidth because of like the lifestyle that I was living stateside. You know, I had a very corporate job, and it took a lot of my time. And I think that is the difference compared to living here in Europe. Is like I do have the time to like think about pursuing a creative project or pursuing a passion project. Whereas stateside, I'm like, I have to plan months, weeks in advance to just have a dinner or a beer with a friend. You know, like
difference in lifestyle, way different.
You know, sort of labeled as workaholics. All over the world. So it's something that I'm sort of breaking out of.
So it gave you that space, kind of.
For sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's dive in on that. So what would you say you love most about Portugal?
Wow. Okay, that's tough. I love to eat. The food is really good. The food, the wine, the cheese. I mean, the gastronomy here is really fantastic. The quality of the produce is exceptional. But I would say for me is again the community. Like, if I didn't have people that I could like rely on or count on, I don't think I would be here still. Honestly, you know, I think having people that are in your corner is just like so important. You know. So I'd say the connections that I've been able to make with my friends. You know, Julie, Sin, Mariama, you, Flor, and just all the amazing people that I've met through work or through events or just like going to a coffee shop and just talking to people. I find that, you know, even as a self-proclaimed introvert, it's just a lot easier to like connect with people. And I find that the Portuguese are largely curious. They're like, well, what land did you hear? Like, we're from America. What? You know, I think they're always sort of scratching their heads like, you didn't want to stay in America? I'm like, it's a long story. It's like, how much time do you have?
Literally. It's different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Different perspectives.
But I would say the community.
Amazing. Sure. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. And I think that's important for everybody that is. I think that's the biggest thing that someone should have when they're looking to move abroad, because it's like you need that, you know, like you gotta, So what would you say is the least favorite now?
Wow, I would say, I mean, I'm 3 years in now. Just sort of dealing with the bouts of homesickness. Because obviously, like being here is a conscious choice that I've made. But sort of dealing with that and not being able to like celebrate immediately with my siblings and my nieces and nephews, you know, and just I mean, I'm grateful for my community here, but those sort of milestone moments make me a bit sad sometimes. So, you know, finding ways to cope with that, and maybe that's, you know, reaching out to friends like, hey, let's go for dinner or let's go for a walk, and learning ways to cope with that. And then I would say like more sort of seriously, you know, there are issues in every country, socially. I find in my industry, like whenever I do go to events, there's not as much diversity. I'm usually the only Black person. Unless like I have a plus one and they're also Black. And it's not a slight, but it's just like my lived experience here. I find that oftentimes there just needs to be a bit more diversity or a bit more intention to, you know, make sure that the Afro-Portuguese community is also a part of like bigger celebrations and you know, they have opportunities for upward mobility, whether that's for college or like professional development, these types of things. So that's something that I really want to include in my writing. Even as a food writer, I think it's also important to tell, you know, the realities of life here, because it's not sort of I don't know, everything is like perfect. That's not the case, considering Portugal's history. But I would say for people who are interested in moving abroad, to just do some research and understand like the space that you're moving into, understand the historical like context of the mindset of the locals and these types of things, just so that you're not completely like shell shocked when you land here.
Like, whoa, yeah.
Like, what's going on, you know? So it's super important to just be aware in that sense.
Yeah. And the locals appreciate that too, because it's like, you're in their country, you're in their land,
yes,
you know.
Exactly.
So it's important to integrate, you know.
Make
like
an effort to
you may not be fluent in the language, you know, but you know, so
to be just socially aware is so important.
Yeah, 100%. So coming from the U.S., right? What would you say you miss most about the States in general, right? So yeah.
I would say, I mean, growing up in New England, you know, I love apple picking season. I love going to Mass and like seeing the foliage and just, I mean, I know you could probably go up north to Queensborough and like see that, but like, I don't know, there's just something about like, you know, having like your big winter jacket on and like going out for a walk with the first snowfall or something like this.
Yeah.
So I'd say the changing of the seasons. You know, I do miss. I mean, I love a good beach day. Don't get me wrong. But, like this year, I was like, man, I wish I could kind of drive up to Vermont or something like this. So yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like life would be different for you if you were still living in the States?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would still be working my corporate job.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have voluntarily said like, okay, I quit or whatever. Because, you know, I made decent money and it was a pretty comfortable lifestyle. But yeah, I think having this like sort of COVID pause made me think like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got to pivot.
Yeah.
Because clearly you're not really happy. So,
you
know, but I'd say I'd still probably live in Boston and probably still work my office job. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I was like, you know, traveling really sort of piqued my interest. So.
Yeah. And what I just took from that is you were very self-aware. Like COVID gave everybody the time to just sit and pause and think. You were self-aware. This is not what you wanted, but you also took action. For sure. I think a lot of people are self-aware, they know what they want, but just don't take the action, don't take the step, you know? So, So what advice would you give to that person that is looking to move abroad, make that step, you know? What would you say about that?
Do your research.
Yeah,
that is probably the number one thing, because it's not impossible to like relocate to another country, like especially if you're coming from the United States. The State Department has just a boatload of information, and you can check out which consulates you need to do some research on or whatever. So I'd say like do your research, know exactly what your limitations are, know what your sort of non-negotiables are, right? Because if you don't know what your limitations are or what your non-negotiables are, then like you end up becoming dissatisfied or you become depressed and homesick, and then you've not really given yourself time to build a network and do the things that you needed to do, right? And just also, you know, making sure you have you know, access to mental health services, because relocating is like very huge. You know, it's not easy, but also it's like it's a huge shift in your life style and just the people that now you're around and everything. So making sure you have a toolkit in place for self-care and just that support. So
that's amazing, because I actually just had a conversation with Jael and Rain Wells, that's very important. I'm glad you touched on that.
It really is,
so, wow. So in terms of like your overall experience here, right? And you've been here since 2020, so that's okay. If you know what you know now, would you have went abroad sooner, or do you think like when you went abroad was the right time? Like,
that's such a great question. I don't know. I feel like the timing was right because you know, there are lessons that like we all have to learn in life, that we should learn in life, and people that you know can enrich our experience. So I feel like the timing that got me here was right. I don't think I should have moved sooner or later. I think if I had moved sooner, I wouldn't have met you. I would have met all of the people that have really impacted why I want to continue to live here.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's a great response. That's a great response. Wow. So, and then just one more topic,
Sure.
health insurance, because I think that's one of the that's very important for people when they're looking to move abroad. It's completely different. I think people do realize once they leave how expensive the U.S. Health insurance is. So how has your experience been with health insurance, if you're private, public?
Sure.
Touch on that.
Definitely in private.
Okay.
Definitely way cheaper than like what I was paying when I had a corporate job. Like I was really blown away.
Yeah.
And even like I've never had to have surgery or anything, but like thinking about how costly it would be if I had to have any sort of surgery or any like procedures done stateside. Like it's, you know, completely in the poorhouse. It's kind of crazy. And compared to here, like it's just way more affordable. Even if you're paying for private coverage, like it's wild, and it just is another point that proves to me for me it wasn't sustainable to remain stateside, and that's just me. So.
Last question, we'll wrap it up. So overall experience, right? And have you explained your accessibility to travel since being abroad in Europe? Because a lot of people, they, especially when they're traveling for the first time, they're like, whoa, it's $50 to a flight to Paris. Like, so touch on that, like
of
the difference.
I mean, I love to travel. And it's been awesome just being on this side of the world. And like, you know, going over to Spain for a couple of euros, like it's super cheap. It's the border of Spain. So
that's just crazy.
Like you can just drive there or take, you know, a charter bus or fly. Like I know there's a sale going on right now, and you could fly to, I think, Paris for 50 euros.
That's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy.
You know, so the accessibility to the rest of the EU or Europe rather is like really awesome. So I say if you are here, take advantage of that. You know, go to Switzerland, go to Copenhagen. Like, why not? And for the weekend even, like.
Quick little weekend trip. What would you say has been your favorite country that you've traveled outside of Portugal?
Wow, that's such a hard
question
to answer.
Take your time.
I'll say France. I really love going there. I love the food. I love the culture. And Paris is really great. Lyon is really beautiful as well. But I mean, growing up in a major city, I like most cities. So I'd say Paris. I know some people are like, you either love Paris or you hate it. And I'm one of those people that absolutely loves Paris.
I'm with you. People are like, why? I'm like, I love Paris.
I love the fact that you could walk most places, you know, and they have an outdoor cafe culture, and even if it's like wintertime, and it's just really like super chill. Super chill. So I'd say France. This has been amazing.
Shout out to my Zoes. I mean, a Haitian from Mattapan, out of all things. It's crazy. It's been a blessing.
For sure.
Food and columnist, Timeout Market, Portugal. Make sure you check her out. Expat. Matter of fact, you tell them where can they find you. Drop all your links, information.
Sure.
Please also talk about your new Airbnb experience.
Oh, yes.
I will put that below.
Awesome.
This lady is shining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Really. Margot, you can find me online on my website, margoscreativelife.com. Same as my IG handle, it's Margot's Creative Life. And also you could purchase my book, The Expat Kitchen, on my website, as well as The Quick Guide to Lisbon. So if you have any plans to visit, feel free to check it out. And also if you want to come hang out with me, check out my Airbnb experience. So thank you.
Hey, well there you have it, Margot. Keep shining. So happy for you. Listen, make sure you like this video. Comment below questions that you may have, questions that you may want to see for the next episode. I'll be replying, just taking in the feedback. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. We ain't make it yet. You know, life is a journey and we ain't make it yet. Emphasize on we because we are all in this together. This is my brand. You can also check that out below. And we'll see you for the next episode. We are out of here.